UFC 309 went exactly how everyone, probably majority people, predicted it. Charles Oliveira beating Chandler, and John, the legend, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, beat Stipe Miocic. Um, Charles Oliveira absolutely dominated Chandler, absolutely dominated, man. In the last round, Chandler had an opportunity to try and knock out Oliveira, but listen, Oliveira is an absolute animal, man. This guy is a machine. He just chews up any punches, chews up any punishment, and eventually Oliveira just dominated him throughout the fight with ground and pound, getting on top of him on the stand up as well. He's just absolutely annihilated him. And Chandler been out the game for a couple of years, and you could tell, even though his physique was absolutely top tier, Oliveira just looked sharp. I think the two losses, Oliveira's last two losses, really, put him in a space where he just wanted to win this fight in ecstatic fashion, and he did. To be fair, and he did, and he deserves his chance to go and win the title back. Um, I obviously rooted for Oliveira. I think he's a fantastic fighter. I think he's a top class fighter, and he showed, plain and simple, he showed. Chandler at times didn't have any response, and you saw a couple times as well that Chandler was actually running from Oliveira's punishment a couple of times. And then a couple of times as well, Oliveira almost looked like he was going to get him into a good submission position and get him to tap out. But Chandler did well, slipping out of all of them rear naked chokes and the chokes as well, and stayed in the fight. But in the end, no matter what he did and how much he tried to unload, it was just too little, too late, and Oliveira absolutely took him out and won the fight. In terms of the main event, it was interesting to say the least, because I thought Stipe Miocic, right? I thought, considering this is going to be his last fight, and he's now retired as well. He said in the octagon afterwards to Joe Rogan, he said, "Look, I'm done. I'm retiring." I thought he's going to give a bit more. I was surprised by how little Stipe Miocic tried to unload on John Jones, and that may be because you don't want to do that mistake with John Jones because he's gonna catch you, or just he was a bit shook because John earned his respect early on in the fight as well. In the first round, John was on top of him for like 3 minutes, 5 seconds plus. And he took about 30, 40 elbows to the head, Stipe, early on in the first round. So I understand why he looked a bit confused and slow. And considering in his defense, he's been out of the game for how many years as well. So he's old, he looked slower, his reaction time was very poor. His desire to unload on John was non-existent, and John just picked him apart with the jab. John backed off when he needed to. He made sure he doesn't get caught with heavy shots, even though there was the odd right hand and the left hand that Stipe landed. It didn't really affect John much. John got a cut on him as well on Stipe early on, and I could tell, right, as Stipe was in his corner in between rounds, he almost felt like Stipe didn't want it. He felt like Stipe didn't want to be in there with him, or just in there in general. I don't think Stipe actually wanted this fight as much as many people thought. Even in his post match, interview in the ring, in the octagon, sorry, he sounded deflated. He sounded like he's thankful that it's over, and he's done. Basically, he's done. Even though in the first round he took all of them elbows, um, that spinning back kick from John, he did that already. I think it was the fourth round or third round that he did that. That landed flush. But in the final round, in the third round, was it that the spinning back kick that took him out right on the liver, man. You can't recover from that. You're struggling to breathe, and Stipe went straight away on all fours, trying to get gasp for air, and John leaped on him pretty much. But part of me felt like John didn't want to hurt him too much, and referee as well. The referee just jumped straight in and called it off. The jab from John was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. John Jones is pretty much inevitable, pretty much inevitable, and he doesn't seem to be wanting to retire. He said, "Look, he's if the price is right, if the negotiations go well, Tom Aspinall is there, or someone else." At this point, it seems like John Jones is trying to cash in on the big fights and make as much money as he can, rightfully so, before he retires. In terms of Stipe, he's hung up his gloves. He said, "I'm done," and you could tell he don't want it no more. But an absolute masterclass from John Jones, man. Absolute masterclass. He's so elite that he made it look easy. Part of me felt like Stipe was going to land some of the heavier shots and gain John's respect, but Stipe didn't do nothing. I mean, the second round, he just stood there. And his coach, his corner told Stipe in the second round, after the second round, that look, you're letting him off the hook loads of times. You need to go forward. And then come the third round, he went forward a little bit. And after that, he just again foot off the gas. He didn't want to go in. He didn't want to. It almost felt like he didn't want to get knocked out. He didn't want to get punched in the head, and he just stood there. It was for someone like Stipe Miocic and the accolades he's achieved in the UFC, seemed a bit odd in my opinion, and seemed a bit like he was lethargic in there and he didn't want to be in there. That's just how I made it out. Let me know in the comment section what you made it out. Who should John Jones fight next? Because Tom Aspinall versus John Jones is the fight that everybody's talking about, and I think Jones is gonna pick Tom apart. I think John is just, like I said, he's just so amazing at what he does. He's the master at what he does, and I don't think there's a way that Tom Aspinall can get better of John Jones. Is John doing it for the legacy or is he doing it for the money? The answer is, for me anyway, the answer is he's doing it for the money at the end of the day, because he said it there, we'll have negotiations, and if it goes well, you'll hear about it. I think Dana White is going to keep him because the UFC need John Jones at the end of the day for the big pay-per-views. Chandler as well, calling out Conor McGregor, because Chandler wanted to beat Oliveira and call the guy out after him, but Chandler lost, so now he's calling out Conor McGregor. I think the UFC can do with keeping John Jones and Conor McGregor. They lost Francis Ngannou already, which is a huge name. So going forward, I think John Jones, Tom Aspinall, the fight that everybody's talking about makes sense, and I think John beats him without a shadow of a doubt. John beats him by TKO as well. I think Tom Aspinall, as good as a fighter he is, I don't think he has a chance against John Jones. John just looks too natural at that weight, too comfortable, too smooth, and the weapons that he's got, the spinning back kick, the shoulder to the head, the ground and pound is absolutely sensational. The submissions that he's got in his arsenal, the knees to the body, the straight leg kicks, the low leg kicks, the punches to the body, the spinning back kicks. Oh my God, this guy just mixes it up so much that for any fighter, it's a long night whenever they get in the octagon with John, and we will see what comes out of it. Let me know what you thought of the fight in the comments below. Do you think John Jones should fight Tom Aspinall? Tonight went exactly how many people predicted it. Even Bo Nickel as well against Craig Paul. Same. People thought Bo was going to win, and he did. The three fights leading up to the main card all went exactly as planned. I think John Jones should fight Tom Aspinall, even though I'm kind of against it. But there's no other big fights to make, really. Yeah, that's all, really. Big up to everybody for watching. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more UFC streams as well. Take care, people. Peace.